Hello, everybody. This is Spartan Bambi here. I am joined in this episode of the Six Mil Show with my regular co-host Spartan Grimlock and a new voice to the podcast, Spartan Swoop. He's a regular of Team Spartan, but it's the first time he's been on this podcast.
Be gentle with me.
Yeah, be gentle with him. I did give him a little opportunity to introduce himself, but he's chickened out. So, so we're gonna get.
Well, what do you say?
Just you're like, hi, I'm Swoop. I've been playing Airsoft for so long. I've got this is kit, that type of thing.
Man up,
man up,
man up then. Okay, I'm Swoop. I've been playing Airsoft for 5 years now. Is it? Around about 5 years. Usually running your standard M4 kit, but one's Arthurian Airsoft. What am I running? Arthurian Airsoft Crimson Offspring. A new Pearl Pioneer Defender. Pistols wise,
great riff.
Oof.
Love that riff.
Pistols. What am I running? WE 1911A. Raven 1911, which is in its box, hidden away because it's an awful piece of kit. And a WE Glock 19. There are myriad other riffs.
And soon to have a WE High Kappa.
Oh yeah. WE High Kappa 5.1, is it?
Yeah, it's the 5.1 Dragon.
Yeah. That is a nice riff though. That is. I can't understand why Mantis didn't pick it up, but there you go.
Because he's a freak.
And that is his professional opinion, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, yeah, I can say that because it's Mantis is my son. Also, didn't we agree on Peppers?
Yeah,
instead of Mantis.
Well, Peppers, Mantis.
Yeah, we called him Peppers, didn't
Mantis. Yeah, Peppers.
We won't embarrass him with that story.
I hope he's listening to this. Spinning in his own bed right now instead of obviously because he can't have a babe.
Yeah.
Oh no!
No! Please don't tell the story. Please don't tell the story.
Not the McDonald's story.
Yeah.
Family show.
We'll keep things civil. Yeah. All right. Moving on. Myself and the team, well, the vast majority of us, played a couple of games this month. I had the enjoyment of playing down south at a place called Red Alert Airsoft and Paintball. The birthday game for Jenny from Airsoft Anonymous. Shout out to them, not chilling at all. There were a good bunch of people. I'll just do a quick overview of the day. It was hot. It was a scorcher. To the point where the ice cream man was a welcome sound and sight. Especially when you've been running around in a outdoor airsoft site. It's really good. It's a decent site. Everything's built up. What I mean by that is that they've got good. They've built some nice objective areas, towers, bridges, usual dips and gullies as you would expect from a forest type environment. However, not to the point where it's so overgrown you can't see past the end of your barrel. There was plenty of cover, plenty of places to hide, but at the same time you could see people. So I would say it's a solid 9 out of 10. Only because it was a private game, everyone was like super duper, taking their hits. They didn't want to embarrass themselves because it was someone's birthday. And it was a high player day. I don't think they normally have 80 players there.
Wow.
Judging by the size of the safe zone that we couldn't actually have access to, but that covers the topic we're going to be discussing later on. But at the same time, it was big enough that you didn't feel like you were overwhelmed. We know sites that if they have high player counts, you're just running into BBs regardless. It felt like you could actually play. And the cool thing is they allow all pyro, tag rounds, Moscats, 40 mics, the lot. They're pretty open with the kind of pyro you can use.
Yeah, them tag rounds were pretty good.
Yeah,
on your video.
One going off at the top of my head, right above my head, within a meter of my head. Yeah, that was pretty insane. So it's definitely somewhere I think as a team we'll definitely have to do a overnighter to play there at some point. What it plays
Can't
like
be any worse than the overnighter we had recently.
well, we'll get into that in a minute. Yeah, I don't know what it'll play on a public day. We could, I think Airsoft Anonymous is doing regular private game days, so we could do it then. That's probably the best way to do it. But again, if you've ever the marshalling style there, if you've ever played Attack House Spartan before it closed down, it's the same kind of martial style. They're there to run the games and keep you safe. The rest of it's up to the players, and when you've got good players, that works out really well. Moving on to our my second game of the month, but the team's first game. None of us turned up, including a few old friends and a few new faces. And I'll let you take this one, Grimlock, because being IC1 of the team, you get to say something now. With regards to the
Rainbow
game.
sparkles and unicorns.
Yes.
Because we had a unicorn whilst we were there.
We did. Stitch did. I can't believe how much attention Stitch's TM gas blowback unicorn. I can't believe I said that sentence.
Let's just call it the Rainbow Unicorn.
The Rainbow Unicorn riff got from everyone who was there, plus a few names in the industry as well. We were quite chuffed with it.
Is it any good?
I don't know. I didn't ask him.
Oh, I don't know.
It's a GBB in it.
Yeah, it's a gas blowback, 30 round magazine. So
He had to put white gas in it as well, though, didn't he?
Yeah.
Because we played at the jail, and every time I've played at the jail in the I've always had it's like, let me start again. I use my KSG because it's a CQB site, and every CQB site I've been to, I've either had green or red gas in it, and it's not had a problem with its FPS.
Yeah.
Every time at the jail. Every time. I don't know what it is they've done to their chrono or what it is, how they're working.
Same with my breacher, wasn't it?
I had to put white gas in it, and that just brought it
under enough.
Yeah. So the jail is in Oakham. It's one of our I wouldn't say regulars, but it's one of our enjoyed sites.
It's one of the sites that we'll visit at least once a year.
Yeah, I've actually that's my second visit.
That's for the rest of them. I don't know if I may bother from going forward after last Sunday.
Well, you have we can get into the reasons for that in a minute. But it wasn't hot, but it was certainly muggy, and
your kit stuck to you so. It was like
much, yeah.
it was like plastered to you with sweat.
Yeah,
it's like I've only ever had kit stick to me like that once or twice before in the past, and it's like your kit, you're uncomfortable in your own skin.
He says it was humid as hell. It certainly was, dude. Yeah, shame you couldn't make the podcast, dude. You have to get your hardware sorted out, man. You can get on for the next one. So, What's
that? I've not got the Twitch up.
That was Moose.
Moose.
Yeah,
it was good to have Moose back and have Moose going to rejoin the team.
It certainly was. Welcome back, dude. Well, welcome back. We also picked up a new team member as well. Call sign.
This is true.
Hopefully, he'll be able to get an Instagram up and we can add him to everything and get it. So you're welcome, Moose. I mean,
Did you not get the link earlier on for his call sign whisper? Yeah,
right, you'll have to send
call sign _ whisper with an underscore at the end.
All right, I will make sure I add him to the Insta tags. We're done here. So yeah, it was a low player day.
About 15 to 18 per team.
Yeah, and which is a bit weird because the jail, does play well with large numbers and low players, but it just didn't feel like a good day.
It felt very one-sided as well.
Yeah.
It felt really often like all the elite and regular and those who knew the site were like full on dumped on one team with no swap round or anything like that. It was.
I think
It was very.
to be fair though, the reason for that was there was only 18 aside, and we were 9 of those 18. Plus we had Red Widow. Shout out to those guys, by the way, cool guys to play
Yeah,
with.
shout out to Red Widow.
Red
Those
Widow
guys are
Airsoft.
awesome.
Red Widow Airsoft team on Instagram as well. Make sure you check them out. And yeah, so to be fair, I can see why that wasn't gonna.
Yeah,
be
it makes
the
sense.
case,
But to be honest, I mean, you could split us up if need be.
yeah, which we don't have a problem with.
The thing is, it's finding that balance, isn't it? Like that's most of the sites that I've been to. You'll play 1 or 2 games, and if the balance is okay, if you've got like your rentals and this, that, and the other, and you switch it around.
I don't think we got absolutely trounced. We did win a couple of games.
To be honest, though, it's like it's weird. I'd say it's not so much that because we know the layout of the jail.
Yeah,
I think it's just there was just something so off.
yeah.
Day.
I think
Like,
I think
we'd be covering a doorway, and you'd look away for that split second, and then about 6 or 7 of them would filter through that door. He's like, "How the hell did they get there? I've just looked away."
yeah, exactly. It's like when you play it, like when you play any video game, and like the AI spawns right on top of you. Yeah, yeah. Just a quick one. Yeah, Moose just reminded me. Also, shout out to Tony and Zero Pressure Airsoft.
Yeah,
as well.
No Pressure Airsoft.
No Pressure Airsoft. Yeah, thanks. They joined us as part of our group of 9. Don't want to forget those guys. We've played a few games with them. They're good people.
Yeah,
as well.
good shout out to Tony and the crew there.
Yeah. So what attributed, and getting to the main subject of the podcast, Airsoft and lockdown. I think what attributed to it was the feeling of isolation, if you know what I mean, inside the safe zone. I think that's because normally you can just walk around, you can chat to people.
That might have been, yeah.
And you don't feel restricted, but, you know, we had to... There was hand sanitizer everywhere.
To our own room, weren't we, as well?
Sticking to our own room. You had to wear a mask in the safe zone, which makes sense if you walked around, which makes sense, but if you were stacking on a door, you were less than 2 feet from someone who was... you know, wasn't part of your room anyway. But I suppose precautions have to be made, and this is what we're trying. What the topic of this?
Those kind of precautions really can't be put into effect in the field. Really,
exactly.
Unless everyone's running around in a respirator. And I've done my time running around in a respirator.
That'll make for a very short day. That's a very short day.
Yeah, I mean, great. Moose just said there was. Just mentioned the incident of the one player taking a hit with the nade. That's a completely other topic of conversation, which is just.
Oh, yeah. Well, by the end of the day, it just became a game of grenades, didn't it?
It did, yeah. Especially in the
start of the day, there was a reason they tried to stop that, but I don't think there's much of a way around it. You need to police this.
Well, you said yourself, two marshals when you've got a low player count on a site where there's so many ways around, so nooks and crannies wasn't enough.
It was one marshal per team, and it was to rely on the players.
Yeah,
and I think some players did take advantage of that.
Yeah. Hey, Peter, how's it going?
Not saying everyone did.
Buddy? Yeah. So going back to the lockdown precautions they had. It did give a very strange vibe to a site which can be sometimes pretty creepy anyway, if you know what I mean, with it being a prison. Yeah, so it's sorry, what was I saying? There was restrictions on movement inside the safe zone, which didn't really translate very well into the field, which for me I think that's the weird thing about the precautions they made. It's like, what was the point? I don't know if you guys agree with me. I mean, I understand.
How close are you for a knife kill?
Yeah, and they didn't even mention you couldn't knife kill.
The thing is, you'd be at that point, you'd be running around breathing out your ass.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
even if you've got the grill masks on, you're still breathing at people. So
I think for me that's where the precaution was a little weird, because when I was at Red Alert, they temperature scanned, took your temperature, and that was it.
Yeah.
You were allowed to, if you passed that, you were allowed to walk around and everything like that, and talk to people, interact outside your car. We didn't actually get into the safe zone because it was so small and there was 80 of us there.
Well, yeah, I can understand that. I mean, that many people. I mean, that is a big risk with 80 odd people. But it sounds like they handled it
Yeah,
in a way.
The car park was
more...
the safe zone, basically. So you had,
yeah, that makes sense.
well, people were going around
It's
talking to each other.
Like when I go to Alpha 55, I work out the boot of my car. I don't sit in the safe zone itself. I just work out the boot of my car.
One thing Chris Moose has just pointed out, they did one of the things they did at the jail, which other sites might do, but it's our experience, is the jail had objectives in sanitizer before we picked them up.
Yeah, they were all just like in a little pool of hand gel.
Yeah, but it goes back to the precaution of, I suppose it's surface transfer, but at the same time, what Swoop said is right. We were breathing out of our ass, and we were all, and when we were going back, we were congregating.
Those objectives were probably furthest away from two people at any one time than any one of us was further away from another member.
Exactly.
Look, the thing is, look at it this way. Yeah, you're breathing out your arse and all the rest of it. Even if you're not next to someone or near to someone within the 2 meter, 1 meter distance, you're wiping the sweat off yourself. Do you know what I mean? You are going to be wiping your brow at some points. So are you then washing your hands and hand sanitizer and this, that, and the other before you put your hand back on your gun? Are you? Well, there's only so far that the precautions are going to take you when you play sport.
and the fact that the spawns, everyone was congregating in the spawns. They were right next to. They were in like little cramped corners, if you know what I mean, because that's the way the goal is. The spawns are in small areas, so
little rooms.
You're breathing out your ass. You're all waiting up to pick.
It was a very thin, like, I mean, even though you were outdoors, it was a very thin corridor-esque run between the spawn and getting back into game, and it's like you're passing like 4 or 5 guys on the way in and out.
So I understand. So the conclusion here is basically we understand the precaution, but you know, and you can only limit it to very much when you're playing Airsoft, especially when you've got when you're following government guidelines and everything like that. But at the end of the day, one set of precautions was cancelled by the game itself, by another set of precautions, or by the game itself. Whereas Red Alert, they had one set of precautions. Once you passed that, you were deemed good to go, if you know what I mean. And the whole idea of being within a meter of each other was okay, and interacting with the group because they checked you at the door with your temperature. I think what the jail was doing was not overkill.
Being overcautious.
Yeah, overcautious, probably slightly poorly planned as well. Separating people into the room took away the atmosphere, but then again...
even in the game area, we tended to also end up mostly
in one point,
exactly. It was like all those from one room or in one area, and it's like, well, hang on, you know, we want to play alongside the Red Widow guys.
Yeah.
The thing is, even when
the Red Widow guys are like, you know, off on the other side of another building, we've got to fight our way to get over there.
Yeah.
The thing is, when you consider how much kit most of the veterans will bring, you've got at least 2 meters each anyway. For where you're sorting your kit out and you're taking your gun, you're opening your gun case and all the rest of it. You've got at least 2 meters anyway. So separating people in that respect, I can understand it being right. Okay, you've got a 2 meter gap between sort of people facing each other. I could understand that, but not like just put everyone in one room and another set of people in another room, another set of people in another room. It just kills the atmosphere. So. You know, well, he didn't hit me. His gun's not all that good. He didn't hit me. Do you know what I mean?
Well, it's like the what was it you said, that we're putting you in your own little social group? But we were in the big room and we had at least one other group with us in the big room. And we were like,
but we barely even spoke to them, and they barely spoke to us.
Yeah, I think. Look, it's not that I don't respect the precautions that have to be made, but. It kind of went null and void, didn't it?
It felt that way.
And it kind of ruined the whole atmosphere of the jail, which is like a big group of people just playing, and getting along and chatting away, and you can just walk into someone's room and say, "Oh, great kit, let's have a look," or something like that, like you do on the regular. Which is not wrong, and being it like a low player count day as well, it was still very compact because the way they ran the games is everyone was in one area or another, if you know what I mean. They had especially
they kept it like very compartmentalized. That was the word I was
compartmentalized. But the last game where we were escorting the VIP up and down the stairs, you got bottlenecks where both teams were right on top of each other.
That one was a very strange game.
Yeah. So
the thing is, you've got that strange dichotomy as well, where you've got you'll either have a low player count and then there's like people not calling the hits, or you'll have like one of the first games that we did after lockdown at a site that we're always at. I rage quit.
Outpost, yeah.
I rage quit on the second game.
I've never done that.
You had too many people, and because you can't spread out when you're playing. You were right, Super. When we played there, you said the dickheads are out for the first game. If you know what I mean. You're absolutely right about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to wear that
I don't rage quit, but yeah, that double protective film that they put on before they start the game, the I can't be hit.
Well, yeah, I'll go
cling film.
Yeah. Go on, Grim. What were you going to say?
Yeah, I'll go into this one. It's like, I rage quit the second round, and I never rage quit.
Yeah,
And I turned around to Stitch and was like, right, tell Bambi he's got the team and he's in charge until I come back onto the field. You're who I see. Now, I found myself, once I sat down, how plastered and my kit was to me. And I'm looking at myself and I'm thinking to myself, whoa, hang on. What if I'm not feeling hits here?
Yeah.
Now, the way your kit was, because it was so muggy and so humid, I wouldn't put it past the fact of the way everyone's kit might have been. A lot of people may not have felt hits. There was a few times I didn't feel hits, and obviously as well. One thing that I found at the jail is most of my kills and deaths, it was just a simple 50-50 trade off, and it's like, well, that's no way to play a freaking day, is it?
No, it's not. No, I mean there was a lot of times where you're like, yeah, I had a couple of 50-50s, and I was like, if 9 times out of 10 I'd pull the trigger and carry on. You know what I mean? It was a bit of a weird one. Yeah, I totally understand where you're coming from.
It's like,
go on.
Looking back on it ourselves, it's like, bloody hell, if we've not felt hits, and we, obviously we've pulled the trigger and carried on, I mean, people could be looking at us and going, those are cheating bastards. When obviously we've generally not felt the hit, generally not realised, and it could go both ways. They could have been exactly the same. So it's all well going. Oh yeah, you have the Teflon coating. I mean, fucking, we might have had that. It might as well have been.
Yeah. Just a comment.
It was like that because of the way your kit was. I mean, I swapped U-backs halfway through the day.
Yeah.
And you saw my flannel U-backs, and it was ringing.
I changed to a t-shirt as well.
Yeah, you took your U-backs off. Yeah, and my second U-backs was ringing as well by the end of the day, and I was like, I brought them home, and I think we went in the wash the next day, and they were still absolutely dripping.
Yeah, just a quick comment from Moose on the day itself. I'll just give it a read out. He says, I think in general, if they have put both teams all together in 2 separate rooms and also better marshalling for group size, but he thinks that the marshalling was thin for most games as they're unsure about working with COVID-19. But all the day that came down to is not mixing up the regulars with the newbies, basically. So what he's basically saying is they could have kept the groupings in the safe zone as normal. Didn't have to separate us out. He's saying that the marshalling at the goal's better with higher player counts, and
there's usually a few more marshals though.
And but he's addressed that by saying maybe it's them testing the waters of how many people they need in,
But yeah, that's
or
true.
how
I
do
can
they
understand
work
that. I mean,
with
I'm
staff
not.
when it
that's
comes to
fair.
I'm not
COVID.
saying it was. I'm not saying that the jail in itself is a bad place. It's a fantastic site. Last year when we went, it was run perfectly, even down to the fact of it was a hot scorcher of a day.
Yeah.
You know, we all went home with smiles on our faces. This time, it felt like there was just an air of oppression.
Dehydration.
Even the marshals didn't. It didn't feel like the marshals were having a good time either.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
the best thing about today is coming back into the safe zone and there's freezy pops.
I like my freezing pops. I drank the paint. It was
That
nasty.
brightened my spirits right up.
Yeah, yeah. I see your point.
So the reason why I like level 2.
Yeah, I do see your point on that one. All right, let's move on to a more of a generalization because we're going to Dagger Woods on the 17th of October, and I've just had a look at their COVID policy.
We're also going to West Midlands Airsoft on the 6th of
That's our
September.
next
6th
game.
of September.
Yeah, I've not looked at their COVID policy as of yet, but I will. But I'm not going to do it now because I'm in the middle of a podcast.
Yeah, fair enough. I just had a quick look at it, and they've got a process that I've not seen from other sites, which is a track and trace policy, where they request full name and your mobile number. Now, normally you don't have to do that, which is another element of precaution.
I like that idea.
Which we've
It's a good
not
call.
seen. And yeah, I think I think personally a combination of temperature check at the gate and a track and trace policy is probably and perhaps a not as an extreme safe zone example as the jail, but maybe if it's an outdoor site, bomb up at your car if it's on the site and you're not like having to go somewhere else to get onto site, if you know what I mean. I think
I like the idea of, I don't mind working out the boot of my car because, like I said, I do that at Alpha 55 anyway.
Because I think any other precaution, no, hand sanitizers on site, but any other precaution where you've got to wear a mask to walk around the safe zone just goes null and void once you're out on the field. There's no point to it.
True. Yeah, I get that. But at the same time, obviously they're doing what they feel is right for their players.
I totally. I'm not. That's not the point. That's not the point of criticism I'm coming from. I'm not saying, "Oh, that was stupid. Why are they doing it?" I'm just saying.
No, I understand that. I'm just making sure, reiterating, so our listeners know.
Yeah, well, we're not saying don't take precautions because it's bull crap. We're not saying that at all. We're saying you have to do what you think is right for your staff, your site, your insurances, and the local guidance, because it differs from different parts of England, never mind Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland, you know what I mean? And then what your local council tells you have to do. I'm just thinking maybe as a universal policy, the best way to deal with it would be temperature check on site, hand sanitizers on a regular basis, probably sack off on site food, because that people congregate to go get that. If you can, bomb up in the car. Don't have people congregate in the actual safe zone if you can avoid it, and make masks optional maybe, because again it goes unavoided the moment you're out on site. It's as simple as that. That's probably where I would look at it. So just to recap again: scan at the gate, bomb up at your car if you can. Sack off on-site food to minimize congregation. That includes using the safe zone. Hand sanitizers available, and face masks in the safe zone optional. I think that will probably be the best way of doing it. I don't know what you got. I mean, Swoop. I mean, from your professional standpoint, what do you think will be the best? Not to give too much away about your personal life, what would you think would be the best way to deal with airsoft and lockdown? Hello? Everyone disappeared on me?
He is a professional mask wearer.
Yeah. Is he there? Oh, come on. That was a really good segue into a segment there, and he's not talking to us anymore.
Swoopy doops.
Swoopy.
Stephen.
Hello.
Hello, are we there? Am I
Yes,
still here?
yes,
You can hear me
right.
now.
Did you hear my question?
I did.
Right, can you?
As a professional mask wearer,
Yeah.
in every single house that I visit, it's a new mask. It's hand sanitizer, or wash your hands when you're in there, and then hand sanitizer, and then gloves, apron, etc., etc. Everything that you've just said makes perfect sense to me. I've seen what COVID has done to families. I've seen what it's done to people. I've lost four
You've seen some
people that
things
I've
and some
looked after.
stuff.
Four people that I've looked after in the community have died from COVID-related stuff. So we're not by any means saying, "Oh no, it's all, it's pointless." Blah 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 blah. That's not what we're getting at. What we're getting at is the precautions that need to be taken in a specific way that makes sense to the sport.
Yeah, I think
think
you've just hit the nail on the head there. Yeah.
I think maybe some form of universal plan should maybe go, get put forward.
Before,
Yeah.
you see
A
that
certain plan for the CQB, a certain plan for the Woodlands.
This is where where I want a topic I actually want to use to discuss in the podcast. Because you've got I don't want to say the P word again, but you've got a National Association of Paintball, haven't you? You've got a national group that deals with rules, guidance, etc., 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 for sites and sport and everything like that. Especially when it comes to the professional scene.
Yeah.
But what we don't have an overarching community for Airsoft.
No, I can't believe you said paintball twice in
I
one
know
podcast.
in one podcast. I will have to chastise myself.
I hope that gets bleeped out. It better get bleeped out.
Don't you dare censor me on my own stream, you bastards! Sometimes you have to say
You shout and swear, but you can't say the P word.
Sometimes, so maybe that is a topic for discussion for a future podcast without saying the P word. I think,
having a universal association type thing like they do in their sport.
Because we've got Yakara, but that's more of a retail thing.
Yeah.
If we had like an association that vouched for sites, rules, regulations, could even be a lobbying force to the government when it comes to RIF regulation, if you know what I mean. That's something we've always got to worry about.
Even the RIF regulations, the last couple of months in lockdown, we've seen two incidents of people with two-tone rifles. One of whom was in his house, and a nosy neighbour has gone, "Oh, kid's got a gun."
Yeah.
And police raided. And another one was unfortunately a gentleman with PTSD who was shot and put in hospital.
Yeah, that was local to me, that one, wasn't it?
I didn't hear about that one.
Yeah, that was Runcorn.
Was it?
Yeah, it was.
God damn it! No, people know where I live. I'm actually a Scouser. I had to move here because the missus wanted to move here.
Oh, she could
Runcorn. Oh God, she's looking at me. She knows what I'm talking about.
Runcorn's a big ass place.
Yeah, Runcorn could be bloody local to frickin' Birkenhead. You didn't have to say. You've just given yourself away. You're by yourself. Don't be blaming anyone else.
Yeah. But
they're coming to your defence here.
Yeah.
They're coming to your defence here, Lisa.
This is probably looking at iPod saying, "What is this man talking about?"
Yeah.
God, sorry, carry on.
Someone said you, Cara. I've stopped listening.
Yeah.
But yeah, the poor fella was going through a bad time and wielded a two-tone airsoft pistol at coppers.
Oh, jeez.
Well, even if it's
now the thing is, two-tone weapons are two-tone for that specific reason, so the police know it's not a real weapon.
Yeah.
So coming back onto their train.
Hold on, what's happened? We lost you.
Is he gone?
Thank you.
Their train.
Oh, hold on.
And may need to go through something a bit better.
Not getting
something like how America's going through, because if you cannot identify that it is two-tone, which is there for a reason to indicate that it is not a real firearm, that it is a replica imitation firearm, and it will not cause such bodily harm as to be able to kill, then those police are no better than the guys in America who are fucking pulling the trigger themselves and killing people.
But yeah, you got a fair point. You got a fair point, but it goes down to the fact that going back to maybe the guy with the PTSD, Airsoft.
My love for the police is my love and respect for the police dwindled recently. Anyway, after the fucking kind of fucked a certain person over.
Right.
Yeah.
Moving back.
Name and no names.
Yeah, moving back to to lockdown. We don't want to get too much into that. I don't think. The guy with the PTSD, he hasn't. If he's a regular Airsoft player and he used it to manage his condition, how many people who played Airsoft haven't been able to play, have suffered because it's part of their coping mechanism or part of their social life?
I am one of those people.
Yeah. Or yes, okay. So when it gets you out socializing and everything like that. I mean, Graham, you just said it yourself.
I am one of those people. It helps me deal with my PTSD and my anger management. And throughout lockdown, what were I to do?
Yeah.
What were I to do?
I mean, from a standpoint, my own personal standpoint, it's a social life for me. I mean,
granted, I didn't go around and start pointing it at the police, I can cope with my PTSD better than others can.
Yeah.
It's not an easy thing to cope with.
Well, that's the point I'm trying to make. That's another thing with like Airsoft and being locked down is like if people have used it to deal with PTSD, use it as their main point of social interaction, and have lost that because of not being able to play. You've got to think that maybe how that's affected. Not so much. We forget about going back and the precautions sites are making. Sometimes you have to think how. I mean, from a personal standpoint, I just couldn't wait to start playing again. You know what I mean? I was really looking forward to playing again. I mean, and I have played, and I've started to get back into it and everything like that. But I can't imagine for someone like yourself, Graham, or this guy who, for want of a better way, snapped one day, or how good it was doing for him, and then that to be taken away, if you know what I mean. I don't know what your thoughts on that.
I mean, everyone's only one step away from that bad day.
Yeah, true.
Especially at the minute, everything's on a knife edge. Everyone's really tense. Pandemic.
I was really lucky in the fact that I had you guys to talk to every day.
Yeah, I mean the team situation helped us. That's not.
It's more important to talk than.
Yeah.
It's why Calm exists. It's why there's a lot of places. I mean, for example, if any of the listeners are actually going through something at the minute, they do need to talk. You can always just find a friend.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter who it is. Talk to a stranger. Talk to the Samaritans.
And you can't get any stranger than us as well.
Yeah. There's always someone that is willing to listen.
Breaking up again.
I must just point out then that someone ended up in hospital, didn't he?
Yeah.
On a mental ward because of it.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
That's someone we all know. All right then, guys. I think we'll call it there on that note. I think just another comment from Moose about lockdown and everything like that. He has said that what doesn't help is people selling secondhand rifts to idiots that are not intending to go to find a field of sight. Also, anyone listening to the stream that needs to talk, the team is always happy to help. He's right. Yeah, I mean, we've got a face.
Even if it's even if it's just God, this
Two or three of us
I
make
think even if it's
professional
just questions about getting started with airsoft.
Yeah, I was helping my nephew yesterday.
Yeah.
He turned 18 on Wednesday. He's interested. He wants to get himself a high cap. He wanted the speed soft. I've talked him out of it.
Oh, good man. We can't have another speed soft, do we now? Can we? We can't.
But yeah, I mean, any questions about getting started? Even again, like Moose and Swoop have said, you know, if you just want to chat, you know, we're all here.
Yeah, not a problem or anything like that. Oh, don't! I just went. Don't even go there about speed soft. You've only got yourself to blame.
Quiet, Moose. You don't have that privilege to talk back to me now. We started as brothers. Now I am the captain.
Don't rattle the moose. Yeah, okay, dude. You see,
Nah,
if your headset was working,
honesty,
you could defend
it doesn't
yourself.
matter what your style of play is, as long as you're respectful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if your headset was working, Moose, you could defend yourself, but that, you know. We're on the podcast you want.
You're nothing but a mere listener.
Yes. Look
No.
Look at you typing away.
No, to be honest, our listeners are what make this cast, not us.
Yeah.
So, you know, shout out to everyone who's listening in and all that.
Thank you, everyone who's joined us for the podcast. Moose, shame you couldn't join us, mate, but thanks for your input through the chat. That is us done for another month. Hopefully, we'll have our game report from West Midlands Airsoft. Our very first visit there. Actually, looking forward to that quite a bit. I'll be giving my Lavora an out.
Oh yeah, I can't wait.
My Lavora hasn't an out in this year. It's looking a bit lonely.
Oh, I can't wait to get me recon back in hand because
you missed that last week, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I just had no range on anything at the jail.
Yeah. Although my amoeba was doing all right. I had to arc shots, but I had
to go to my amoeba in the end.
Yeah,
I had to go to my amoeba in the end to actually get any kind of accuracy or range, but it still doesn't have the reach out and touch someone as me recon.
I'm gonna break the striker out.
Oh, look at you!
Yeah, I believe I'll probably take mine as well.
So one, why not?
Getting the striker out, hey? Look at you! Yes.
All right, I could go all Slavic and go do the.
You got to wear the tracksuits. You got to wear the the combat tracksuits.
The thing is, because it's such a thin material, I don't want to get it snagged and tear it all up on nettles, and I don't know how it is.
You'll be wearing that as part of your funeral garb, won't you? When you're 80. Put me in a coffin and dress me in my Slav combat tracksuits.
Just put the small AK in there with me and put me helmet.
Yeah. What was that, Swoop? Sorry, I didn't catch that.
I said no. We'll be buried in the tiger stripe.
All right. Yeah,
I'm straight. Tiger stripe for life.
Yeah, tiger stripe for life. All right, boys.
I'll be pushing 80. Still to be trying to find Gen 3 tigers.
He'll be pushing 80 and still wondering if you're going to bomb up. Going, I want me BBs. Give me my BBs. All right, old man. Go sit in the corner. In my day, we actually went out and played. None of this VR bullcrap.
We didn't have all these drones.
Yeah. Do you see that, Mark? That was a .48.
Back in my day, there was a thing called Tokyo Marui, and it was shit.
That was expensive paperweight crap, but we loved it.
Well, we bought it anyway.
Yeah. Because we didn't have anything else. Oh, there's fancy simulation shit your kids are using these days. Right, okay, we're losing the plot a little bit here.
We're derailed.
I've tried to say goodbye I've tried to say goodbye for the past 5 minutes. Okay, right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that is us done. Our next podcast will be September. Our next game will be at West Midlands Airsoft. Look out for the video on the Spartan Airsoft channel, photographs on Instagram. I have been Spartan Bumblebee, joined by Spartan Swoop and IC1 of Spartans Grimlock. Hope you enjoyed the podcast. If you want to see more, don't forget to hit that follow button on Twitch and on YouTube. You can find this podcast uploaded again on YouTube on the Spartan Airsoft UK channel. This has been Bambi. This is the 6 Mil Show. And until next time, take care.
Bye, guys.
Take it easy.